Tonight on Connecticut's news station, protecting children. After the Nashville mass shooting, one town in our state is pushing for police officers in schools.
A brief but intense round of rain and snow while we're sleeping tonight. We're talking timing coming up.
Plus, the Huskies are heading to Houston.
I'm feeling confident. I think we're going to take it this year.
This is the best UConn team I've ever seen, probably one of the best college basketball teams I've ever seen.
We'll see how Storrs celebrated the UConn men as they travel to the Final Four.
And an energy boost. We're breaking down new plans to fight climate change with wind farms off of New England's coast.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We begin with more attention on securing Connecticut schools after this week's deadly shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. Good evening, I'm Jen Bernstein.
And I'm Ben Goldman. Thanks for joining us here at 10 o'clock tonight. Windsor Locks is investing money to hire more school resource officers. Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner joining us live outside Town Hall tonight to tell us how Windsor Locks plans on doing this. DeAndrea.
Well, you guys, there are only 4 schools here in Windsor Locks, and by 2024, each of those schools will have their own school resource officers. And now the town already has one resource officer at the high school. Now they will have one at the middle school and an elementary school by September, and another one at the other elementary school by next year. Now a decision was supposed to be made on Tuesday night, but the town's financial committee couldn't agree on funding. Tonight, they decided to allocate $110,000 to add these officers. But how to allocate those dollars was a hot topic. The Board of Finance voted to move the expenses of the SROs to the Board of Education's budget. But this was only after the superintendent spoke up to ask them to do that, after a few board members weren't in favor of allocating the funds to the police budget. And while this meeting was already on the agenda, the tragedy in Nashville reignited the debate over the need of these officers. Now, the chief of police and parents are calling tonight a win.
Ultimately, my goal is to have an officer in each school, and that's what we would achieve with that budget.
Don't want anything like that happening in our little town. We've already had a couple scares already, and really don't want it to actually happen. So hopefully having the SROs will prevent that.
Now, coming up at 11, I'll have more from the superintendent on what he thinks this means for the community. For now, in Windsor Locks, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, thank you, DeAndrea. Turning now to the weather watch, that spring-like weather we've been enjoying, it's going to be put on the shelf overnight. We are gearing up for some rain and even some snow possibly over the next few hours.
Tough to even think about snow. We're already in that April spring state of mind, right?
Yeah, very, very true.
Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, guys. Luckily, this is going to be at a really good timing, and most of us will sleep through it and not even know it happened. But there could still be some slippery spots overnight and into early tomorrow, and some roads may need to be treated. It's all from this cold front heading our way. You'll see a line of rain and snow. The timing of this is going to be from about midnight to about 3 a.m., at least for the bulk of this. A brief but intense shot of rain and snow coming through the state. Luckily, temperatures are above freezing all over the state. Right now, it's 43 degrees in the Hartford area. We're in the middle 40s for New Haven. Notice as we head closer to 11, we might start to see a few light showers that are starting to develop across Litchfield County, and then towards and after midnight, this really starts to fill in. Rain showers, snow up in Litchfield County, and other areas could change over to snow, even in southern Connecticut, at least briefly before this moves out of here. Now, because temperatures will be above freezing for a lot of the state, we were talking about the snow melting on contact with the ground, but it might briefly coat things up before that happens. And with temperatures dropping below freezing overnight, that's why we're saying some treatments may be needed. Overnight lows around 30 degrees. Tomorrow, bright sunshine. We're also talking about a gusty breeze developing back behind this front, so winds could kick up to 30-35 miles per hour for a little while overnight. You might hear that as the front is coming through. And during the day tomorrow, it'll be chilly and breezy, at least chilly to start off the day. It's not so bad in the afternoon, but it will be about 10 degrees cooler than it was outside today. The chill won't last. We'll talk about a temperature rebound, warm, wet, and windy heading into the weekend. Your full forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Rachel. Well, new at 10, 5 people were arrested after a large drug raid in Hartford. Police say officers seized a massive amount of illegal drugs and firearms from the Santa apartment complex on Main Street. The investigation was a collaboration with the DEA and FBI launched at the beginning of the year. That raid was conducted today. The 5 people arrested are facing several gun and drug charges.
New at 10 tonight, a man from Monroe will spend 16 years in federal prison in a murder-for-hire scheme in New Jersey nearly a decade ago. 74-year-old George Bratsenis pleaded guilty to a conspiracy charge. Prosecutors say a political consultant named Sean Cattle asked Bratsenis to kill a former associate for him. Bratsenis recruited a Philadelphia man named Bomani Afrika to help him. Bratsenis and Afrika stabbed the victim to death in May of 2014. Afrika was sentenced to 20 years and Cattle is scheduled for sentencing in late June.
We have an update to breaking news that we first brought you last night at 10 of a teen drowning after a police chase. Police have identified him as 17-year-old Benjamin Payton of Waterbury. Just after noon yesterday, police say an officer found 2 stolen vehicles near Lakewood Lake. 4 teens, we're told, ran out of the second vehicle and 2 went into the water. Payton was found by a dive team and died at the hospital. His family says they're doing what they can to honor him.
He's funny. Very funny. You're having a bad day, he's gonna make you laugh. You're upset about something, he's gonna make you laugh.
Well, the other 3 teens in that vehicle were arrested and are facing charges. State police are investigating Payton's death.
Tonight, police are considering the death of a woman in Plainfield suspicious. Officers say they got a call about the woman this morning. 78-year-old Elizabeth Hill was found unconscious and partially clothed. She was lying in a driveway on Beechwood Boulevard and died at the hospital.
An alert tonight from Newington police, who are warning you about a phone scam targeting people by pretending to be Newington police. Residents say that they're getting calls that seem like they're from officers telling them that they have unpaid traffic violations. They're also being asked to pay them using prepaid credit cards. Some scammers have even been able to change their caller ID to Newington police.
They have used a former officer's name and title by saying there's a Newington officer that's calling. Most of the officers' names that they're using are fictitious names. People who are not associated with the department. But there has been one that has used an officer's name of an individual that was here.
Police want to remind everyone that they will never ask for payments over the phone. Well, new at 10, the UConn men are arriving in Houston tonight, where they'll play in their 6th Final Four.
The Huskies will take on the Miami Hurricanes Saturday night. UConn Nation came out strong earlier this afternoon to send the Huskies off down to Texas as they left campus. Fox 61's Gabby Molina was there. She joins us live in stores tonight to show us all the excitement. Hi, Gabby.
Hey, Ben and Jen. Yeah, the Huskies have looked great so far, which just brings a whole new level of energy and excitement here to campus. It makes it feel very real that the UConn Huskies could be champions once again.
Bring it back! Number 5's coming back to stores. Here we go.
Next stop, Houston. The UConn Huskies are headed to the Final Four, and UConn Nation is fired up about it.
Saturday can't come fast enough. Pretty much been to every Gamble game and just counting down the hours till the game starts.
The excitement buzzing through stores on Wednesday as fans sent the team off with well wishes.
We wish we could all go to Houston if we could, so we're just excited to see them before they go.
We just need y'all support to go out and get the win. Thank you guys for everything. We appreciate it.
For many, being a UConn fan is a way of life and a big part of growing up in Connecticut.
I'm really excited. My whole family's been UConn fans since I was little.
It's something that my parents did with me when I was his age, so trying to keep the tradition going. I went to UConn. I went to UConn grad school. I had my baby shower for him here. We had a UConn cake from the dairy bar at our wedding, so we're avid fans.
And on campus, the students' energy is unmatched.
The energy just in watching with UConn fans has been crazy. Everyone's just so excited to see them.
And around campus, everyone's just like, you can tell it's just like a different vibe around campus.
As Connecticut gets one step closer to the championship game, people are feeling positive. So far, the Huskies have made it look easy, steamrolling every team they've faced.
This is the best UConn team I've ever seen, probably one of the best college basketball teams I've ever seen. Brought in a lot of good recruits, freshmen and transfers, and Dan Hurley, the carpenter. It's coming.
Coach Dan Hurley leading the team off campus and, fingers crossed, vying for a 5th national title.
Go Huskies!
It just gives you chills to think about it. I am so excited, and everyone here on campus is just as excited. There's going to be a big viewing party here at Gamble Pavilion on Saturday night. Tip-off for that game is scheduled for 8:49. Live in stores, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
That is going to be electric, Gabby. Thank you so much. And our coverage of the Huskies in the Final Four continues later in sports. We're going to hear from UConn transfer Tristan Newton. He's not only helped the Huskies backcourt, but the Final Four is going to be a bit of a homecoming for him. We'll explain.